Yesterday, there was sun and there was rain, beauty in the mundane. And as the light startled our eyes, we let go of disguise. And now, there's something in the air, and a sparkly shimmer on our skin, restoring everything within. Oh, dreamy, breezy, we go. Easy, easy on our tiptoes, undercover agents of the other, beyond gravel, beyond all. Hand in hand, building castles out of sand, reaching for the grand. As willows align, we lose track of time. Let up high, now we climb. Oh, dreamy, breezy, we go. Easy, easy on our tiptoes, undercover agents. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Friday Night's Lounge. How is everybody doing tonight on this lovely Friday evening following our new moon? We are in the sun sign of Taurus and we are going to our Gemini moon, and all of communication is highlighted coming up. We have a Mercury retrograde coming up, and we are officially heading into the shadow period tomorrow. So if you found any glitches or miscommunication or technology going a little haywire, we had some of this before the show, but as we know with Gemini is our planet of communication, right? So it's our planet of communication, and so we're going to, the air signs. So if you're a Libra, Aquarius, Gemini, your mental space is going to probably be all over the place. You have to try to remain grounded during this time. Just for everybody else, this is a time of inner work, inner transformation, inner reflection. And what is your body telling you? What is your soul telling you? What is your spirit telling you? That's what we're going to explore. And what better way to explore tonight? And we're going to be talking about the element of human design, the human design chart. If you haven't heard of human design, take astrology and just pump it up like ×5. And you have the Kabbalah, you have the Ching, you have the Tao, you have all these things, plus astrology, plus the chakras. And I'm probably not explaining it all correctly, but we do have, apparently now it's becoming a little more mainstream, human design. And you see a lot of coaches kind of using it to determine what your career path should be. Like, oh, get your human design chart done, and I'll be able to tell you what your soul purpose is, or how best you work in your career, blah, 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 blah. But the thing is if you go to any human design expert and you're not going to like a mad scientist human design person, you're probably missing out on a lot of the details, because it's just like if you read your horoscope in the Sunday paper, right? You kind of get the basics, but to really, really know your chart has more than one sun sign. You have your moon sign, you have your ascendant, you have like 20 different planets in all different places, and you really need a scientist, an astrologer, a scientist to look at it in so many details. It's math, it's science. And so apparently what I was reading about human design is it's a pseudoscience which combines all of these elements. And you're able to really use it for your soul purpose, looking for your transcendence, for your transformation. So I know all of you are going to be a little bummed tonight, but I'm thinking you're going to be also very excited, because our lovely co-host Elise, medium Elise Satolaro, she has another commitment tonight. So as you know, we like to bring on some interesting substitute co-hosts. So I would like to first say hello to some of you, and then I'm going to introduce our lovely co-host who I think you'll be very interested to meet. So hi, Auntie M. Nice to see you tonight. Good to see you. Maria, happy Friday. Looking forward to the lounge. So are we. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce my lovely co-host, whom I guess I have deemed, I've just been reminded of this, but I have deemed the antique medium like 15 years ago. I'm going to have to ask her why I named her the antique medium, but that's what she is. She is our good friend, and she has actually been a part of the intuitive development program when I had the school for intuitive development and mediumship many, many years ago. We had a whole program. We had classes, we had golf outings, we had we had Christmas spectaculars at golf clubs, and we would display our talent. They would do readings, they would get diplomas. Yeah, we don't have that anymore, but we're going to transition it all online. And now, Debbie, it's been like 15 years. She came back around. She shows up on the lounge one day, and now she's in the Dream Driver, and now she's getting back into her mediumship. So without further ado, Debbie Carey, what's going on?
You say the nicest things, Marissa. I am like so excited to be here.
There you are. There's your banner.
There I am. And you asked why you named me that, and it just makes me laugh still because, we'd be sitting in class and people would be like, oh, I'm getting this heavy stuff. And I'd go, I'm seeing you as a kid. This is nice. Your grandma's here. Your grandfather. And you're like, you think the antique medium, that, old time, feel good. And I was like, okay, that's
a lamp there. That's kind of antique-y back there.
Right?
Makes you feel good. Yeah.
Pretty woo-woo, but yeah, that's how. And when you said, what do you want me to call you? I'm like, well, you've always called me. So there
the antique medium.
The antique medium. It's an antique now anyway, so it fits even better now.
And you haven't aged one bit in 15 years. Let me just tell you that.
You're so kind. Neither have you.
I know. So we did actually. Debbie was like, she's getting back into her. Mediumship. She's getting back in. She's tapping back in. And so she's like, let's do a little practice round. I'm like, yeah, hey, you could do a practice round on me. This woman, I mean, let me just tell you, 15 years ago, I had a relative back in the day. We all have relatives, right? Had a relative, and we talked about him passing a lot. We used to talk about passing, and I used to go to McDonald's all the time as a kid. Not anymore, but I did as a kid. And so I'm like, it was my grandfather, and I was like, when you pass away, I need you to give me like a symbol, like a sign. What are you going to say, to give me a sign you're okay? And they were like, okay, well, let's just say it's French fries, McDonald's French fries. And so I had seen so many mediums after that, and I was just getting angry and frustrated because nobody's bringing up the French fries. And then Debbie comes into my office, and she's like, I see a red tricycle and McDonald's French fries. I'm like, oh, ding, ding, ding. You didn't have to do an hour reading. So I knew that Debbie was tuned in from the get-go. And then she did the practice reading. So she hasn't read in a long time, but she's getting back into it. Let me tell you, I have seen many mediums in my 25 years of doing this, and I am very particular. I am very technical, and anyone who's been through my program, it is hard. It's not easy, and I'm not going to give you, and you have to go through a rigorous process just for the intuitive part, not even the mediumship part. So she comes on 15 years later on the phone the other day, and she mentions a living person that was close to somebody that I knew that passed. First and last name, okay? First and last name. And most mediums can't even get a first name unless they train for like 12 years. And she's like, yeah, I was a little off, wasn't too happy with my performance. I'm like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? So she is back. She's in full effect. She's ready to go. And she's just going to sharpen that pencil over the next couple weeks and just be prepared. I know Elise comes on and she's available for readings at some point in time. Once Debbie, the antique medium, is ready to come back in full fold, she will be available for professional readings as well. And a little bit into the future, once she's getting back her spunk, but her connection's there. And if she feels anything from anyone in the chat tonight, she's just going to roll with it. She's going to roll with it. And you have a podcast too. You're the queen of the podcast.
I kind of
that.
What? Say that again. When did I start doing that?
No, you have a podcast also. You have a. You have the. Do you still the Girly Girl podcast?
The Girly Stuff podcast because I have sisters. My poor dad, even the animals were girls. We took our German Shepherd and taped curlers and put shaving cream on her head and made her nose like really red. My mom came into the bathroom and 4 sets of eyeballs froze, and things seems to be a theme. So like anything good and girly, I'm talking about it. It's just fun. And I used to do that a long time ago, back when I was going through your class. So it seems to me like the revival is happening. But, I have to say, you have taught me so much about mediumship. You're the reason I even went to the class the first time, because somehow we became friends and you said, you need to come to my class. I said, you know what, Marissa, I think I'm blocked as a brick, but if it makes you happy, I'll show up.
I know I had to convince you to show up.
Yeah. And then one day I started getting all this stuff and I was like, oh, is that what that is? And here we are 15 years later, hanging out in the lounge. Drinking milkshake.
I'm not messing, man. There's people that come in the school, right? There's people that I want to be a medium. I want to be a medium. I'm like, well, I need to see some, proof that you are. I can't make you a medium. I can't make you a medical intuitive. I can't make you have prophecy. It's like, we'll take what you have and we'll refine it, but I can't just take a magic wand and give it to you. So you didn't come in with that. You just came in and you're like, I'm just open, I'm ready, willing to go. And we found out that you're a pretty intense channel, and you're on it. And you read a lot like me, which is more of the European way, so to speak, where it's kind of spirit-centered and not client-centered. So it's a reverse channel. So basically with client-centered mediumship, it's kind of like you are in a group and you pick someone and I'm going to read that person. It's kind of like you're drawn to the person, where with the spirit-centered mediumship, it's kind of like the spirit comes to you and lets you know who they want to talk to. So you kind of have it that way, which is the way I read as well.
I need to study more. I don't really know a whole lot. I just, I'm kind of like I say, that grassroots medium. I'm like, sure, I'll read you, but you could ask me a lot of questions about mediumship. I'm like, I don't really know.
Well, you don't really have to know, because you got it. You just have to get out of your head.
Yeah, exactly. Because, I want to do a great job for everybody. And, I love the healing that it brings. And, a lot of times I have scared some people, but I've also seen people, cry and thank me. And, and then other people are like, oh my God, you saw that? They saw that? I'm like, don't worry. They're not watching the good stuff. They're just scared to tell you a few things. And then they go back and do what they're doing.
Exactly.
But it's really amazing, the healing that it brings. And, seeing people kind of feel lighter when we're done. So, I don't say it's a gift.
Not my messages. My messages weren't light. They were full of heaviness. But you know what? It did confirm a lot of things for me.
Yeah. That was the first for me. I was like, can I say this? It's like, I'm going to ask, not tell, because that just feels better, But you're good. You were good. It was good timing. So,
And what's interesting is that the first and last name that you mentioned, I haven't seen this person in probably 6 to 8 months. And they were going to my mom's house the next day, and I was able to talk to him on the phone today. And I had emailed you all the validations that he showed up. So the universe and the other side is people are oh, I want a reading so I can connect with somebody that passed. It's well, no, you're going to be called when you feel like somebody has a message for you, because it's not for entertainment. It's not to come and be oh, I want a message. They're going to come through with a time. I wanted all these messages for the person who came through, and he's talking about somebody else. Do you know what I'm saying? I had to get a message to. I'm like, don't you have anything else to say? You know what I mean? So but you have to just accept it, because the timing for this person was urgent. It was a medical situation. They're going to come through, not because you're in Disney World and they want to let you know that they know about your vacation and what you have in your back and the tissue you have in your back pocket that you kept from their casket. They don't care. They don't care. Right. I don't know why I got that. Maybe somebody did do that because sometimes in the chat. I get stuff, and that's kind of gross. But like I've had people keep like really weird stuff. But yeah, they're not going to come through because you need to connect. They're going to come through because it's timed for something that they need to tell you during that time. So that's kind of what happens. Yeah. So
that's why I was laughing, because my grandmother passed and I didn't know family members could come through, and I was driving, minding my own business, and all of a sudden I start getting all this stuff, and I was like, hold on, I have to write this down. So I went home and I gave my mom all the messages. I said, and she doesn't like her lipstick. My mom said, well, I haven't seen her, but I'm sure the people have her looking just fine. 5 minutes later, the phone rings and I hear my mom go, oh, really? I'm pretty sure she has some in her dresser at home. Yeah, uh-huh. She hangs up and she says, Ernestine just said, Mommy's lipsticks look terrible. It's too dark. We need to fix her lipstick. I said, I told you.
Yeah. And it's those little tiny details that there's a lot of the way you read that I see in myself. So it's a lot easier to work with somebody where you can like just fine tune them and be like, boop, 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 boop. So you're on your way, girlfriend. I'm going into another. I feel like I told you the other day, I paid my dues. 25 years enough time. I'm going in another direction. Now you're going to take on over. Take over.
And I can call you and say, what the heck? What's going on?
Yeah, you can complain to me and I'll be like, oh, we'll see you in 25. We'll see you when you're 85 years old.
Your dream.
Exactly. So on this mode of transformation, have you ever heard of human design? Have you ever heard of this before this show?
No, I have not, but I'm dying to know.
You're dying. No pun intended, Miss Medium. So, yeah, our jokes aren't going over well tonight. So anyway, I haven't heard of human design either until I had called like a motivational person, like a coach for my business. She said, did you ever have your human design done? So you need to get that done. I'm like, no, I have no idea what that is. And I started following people for human design, and I came across Kip's Instagram, and he seemed to be the real deal. He's been doing this like 30 years, like a long time. He's another mad scientist of the art, which I love. And he's trained with so many amazing people. And when he did, he's like, I'm going to do your chart. I said, cool. Send it to me. And when he sent it to me, I had realized I remembered what my human design chart looked like, because I had it done like 25 years ago by some holistic woman who was doing like herbal therapy on me or something. And I'm like, oh my God, I did have my human design chart done a long time ago. And she's like, yeah, you have all this talent, but where is it being expressed? And she was showing me all the lines, and I'm like, I remember all this stuff. So then he got on the phone and did a reading and explained a lot of things. And it is pretty amazing. So let me just read a little bit about Kip. Kip studied human design in 2000 with a guy named Zeno, who licensed him as an HD analyst, human design analyst, and followed that with 3 years of formal study in person with world famous human design author, I'm probably saying this incorrect, but Chetan Parkin. He has done hundreds of readings and is currently mentoring a limited group of students with a degree in computer science. He's a very, very analytical guy. Kip is, it says he's very analytical. I just said there it is. He majored in psychology with a minor in religious studies for 3 years, but left school in favor of living his profound interest in esoteric systems. So I'm very, very excited to ask him in his own words what this is and how you guys in the chat or the people that are watching and listening, how you can apply human design to your life and what a reading would kind of do for you. So without further ado, Kip Winsett, how are you?
Well, gosh, I'm doing really great. Thank you so much for having me on. Very, very professional and polished. I'm impressed. Wow.
Oh, thanks. Were you hoping for like something real, like shabby?
No, I didn't know what to expect. I mean, I shouldn't say that. I did watch an episode, but I'm impressed. You guys, you're right on.
Thanks, Kip. And
I've been on podcasts, and they're nice, but this is Very good. I'm very pleased to be here. Very happy that you asked me to be on your show. I feel kind of privileged and honored. I'm, moderately so. I don't want you to get a big head there.
Well, you were. It really took a. You were not. You were a little challenge for me to convince to come on. At first, you said no, and I'm like, I'm going to get this guy. I was just like, I got to charm this guy. I got to get him on. I got to. So I just kept asking, and finally, you said yes.
Yes, I remember that. It was, I really didn't want to, for a bunch of reasons, none of which actually are valid, just my mind, doing little trips. And yeah, you were very charming, very persuasive. But the biggest thing was, I think, that you told me I would be safe.
Yeah.
Oh, well, shoot, if I'm going to be safe, I'm down. Yeah, let's do it. Let's go for it. And we had a little technical glitch. It was so funny when I hadn't realized we're going through, I don't pay any attention to planets. So I hadn't realized that we were going through Mercury retrograde. But I know I've been stomping my feet and, mumbling under my breath in kind of an angry fashion a few times today because of all these weird little glitches that happen. Even though things are checked out, boom, right at the last minute, there's always something. Whatever problem you fix, there's another one waiting for you. So yeah, this is, I didn't know that. I don't like to know, I guess. I just like to live it with no, I don't want to see that it's coming. I don't really want to know that it's been here. I just, I'm very much now. That's a very big part of my own design, I am, in fact, my voice, I am myself now. That's the proclamation that I make to the universe all the time, in all kinds of different ways. And it's funny because after doing human design for so long, I've reached a point where I'm starting, like I said, I'm a now person. I have never been somebody who would sit around and think about the past, ever. Don't care. Done, gone. And I've never been somebody who would sit around and plan for the future. Don't care. It's not here. Just in the now. But lately I have been thinking about my past because I'm starting to really pay attention, get clear on how many decisions I made that were, as I look at them now, I can see my design playing out. Because I tell people when they get a reading, look, this is not something you have to do. You don't have to do anything. This is the way you are. All of these behaviors, there's over 1,000 behaviors that are described in detail in human design. So we each come as kind of a combination of these various behaviors, all of which, well, some of them go back 65 million years, quite literally, in terms of our evolution. They're in the DNA. Our DNA is full of stuff that's been around for millions of years. Why? Because it was very, very successful. You look at your chart, you're looking at a bunch of behaviors that have been, I think probably the most recent is maybe 100,000 years, but that's a lot of testing and proving. They work. They work really well. You don't have to do anything. Just go along for the ride. That's the challenge and the fun, because now you can, instead of having to worry about stuff, you can just kind of let go and watch. In other words, be conscious. We're aware of ourselves on all kinds of levels, but sort of aware, kind of pseudo-awareness. Most of our behaviors are zombie behaviors, just behavior change, boom, bang. You don't think about what your mouth looks like when you talk. You don't think about your posture when you're sitting. Just all kinds of things you do, you don't think about. You don't think to yourself, oh, look at me, I'm making a decision right now. I'm not sitting here going, oh, look, I'm going to tell them my opinion. Which opinion should I take? It's not like that. You're living in the moment. All of us are. With human design, you actually get the chance, because you get told who and how you are, you get a chance to sort of watch yourself. And you have a touchstone all the way along the way. Oh, look, here's my type playing out. I'm a projector. I remember being a projector. I didn't know I was a projector when I was 15 years old, but I look back at those behaviors and I go, classic projector. Yes, you didn't even.
Now, what's a projector? What's a projector?
A projector is this very interesting energy type. There's 4 or 5 major types. Projector is one of them. And the hallmark of a projector is that, as you might expect from the word, we're actually projecting onto the world, our own thing. And what we would like to do is have the world sort of align itself and be what we're projecting, but it doesn't typically do that. It doesn't do that really for anybody. So a lot of times projectors, depending on other things in their design, maybe their efforts kind of fall short. They don't know why. And a lot of times it comes down to the simple fact that nobody looked at him and said, oh, I see you're good at this. I'd like to invite you to come over and help me with that. Something that simple to that particular energy type makes a huge amount of difference, because when that happens, they know, look, this is not just because of what I'm thinking in my brain. I mean, I've done huge projects because I got the idea to do it. And I did it for somebody who could have cared less. I'm okay with that. I don't mind. So you could say I failed, but not to my mind. I liked what I was doing. But for a lot of people, it's when Chetan explained it, he was the first one to do a reading for me. When he told me about being a projector, waiting to be invited, I didn't like that. I didn't like it. I thought, what do you mean? Why should I have to wait? That doesn't, But like I said, I've been thinking lately, and I realized that when I was young, without even giving it a moment's thought, I learned to wait. I just, just wait. It's kind of embarrassing to say this, but one of the big ones was, trying to kiss a girl was really hard. So I just wait, and they would kiss me.
Wow. So the projectors don't have to make any moves. That's what this is all about. They don't have to do anything. They just sit back and just let life happen. Like, you don't have to do a damn thing.
Pretty much, yeah.
Really?
Yes, really. Now look, I know how that sounds. That sounds ridiculous, but try living it. You think it sounds ridiculous? Try making a decision that you're going to do it and wait and see what happens. Now that's ridiculous. That's really ridiculous.
So how can you work to your advantage? Like how is it beneficial for you in your human design to sit back and wait to be invited?
Well, I know in your chart, you're a generator. You have access to a really powerful motor from the Hindu chakra system, the sacral center. It's a very powerful motor. Very powerful.
Motor?
A motor, yeah. Well, we all have motors. If you talk to somebody who works in neuroscience of the brain, neuroanatomy or something like that, they have these clusters. They call them hubs. And they have motor hubs and they have somatosensory hubs. And the same thing in human design. We just dropped the word motor and said center. You got a motor center. It means that you have access to this very powerful energy. In this particular case, it's life force energy when I'm talking about you. Other types, manifestors, they have emotional, for example, the emotional center. That's a big motor. Look at all the yelling and screaming that goes on in the world, how energized it all is, all the big drama from all these emotions. It's another very powerful energy center. Typically, most projectors actually don't have one of those centers defined. That doesn't mean they're without it. I don't want to get too complex on your show.
Yeah. So how many of the five, you mentioned there are 5 types. So there's projector.
There's you, generator. There's a manifestor. This is somebody who can initiate things. They don't have to wait for an invitation. You should wait to respond. That's the generator strategy.
So I don't have to do anything either. I can just sit back and wait. No.
That's the ideal. I mean, when people try and make these into hard and fast rules, I get a little irritated, I have to admit, because life's not like that. It's just not. For me to say to you, oh, you're a projector, you can't do anything without an invitation. Well, that's stupid. Of course you can't.
I invited you, so then if I'm not supposed to invite you and you're not supposed to respond till you're invited, then we wouldn't have been here.
Oh, well, see, but I don't know where you get I don't know what you were responding. I think, did I initiate the initial thing? Did I say I want? No, I don't know how it happened, but I don't know what you were responding to. My good looks. You were looking at my good looks and said, I want this guy on my show.
That's right.
Oh, and
I was responding to your good looks. Right.
And my sheer brilliance.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
okay.
So if we just had to make it a little simpler for the people who have no idea what these things, what is, in a nutshell, very simply, what is human design? Can you explain what it is?
No, not really simply in a nutshell. I mean, I could say this, look. We are a collection of behaviors, each one of us. It's a pretty unique collection. Now, I mean, there's some limits on that, but by and large, we are very unique, very different. We live in a culture that doesn't want us to be who we actually are. And you understand that. I mean, some of us want to go around, yelling and screaming and carrying on all the time. Culture takes away a lot of our freedom to express ourselves. And so we quit paying attention to who we are. We're descended from monkeys. You look at any primate behavior, that's kind of us when you get right down to it. But we've been sort of, what's a good way to say it? We don't know who we are, so we're always making errors in judgment, because a lot of who we are turns out to depend upon who we happen to be around at any given moment. I talked with you, I think, about your chart in that, because you have several of these open centers. Yeah. So if you're around somebody, for example, who has the emotional center defined, you tend to be more emotional. Everybody does. That's what makes this hard to say, what is it in a nutshell? It's a bunch of behaviors, and it's a bunch of potential behaviors. And human design explains to you which are which. What did you come with genetically? What's yours? Are you emotional in terms of how you actually are, meaning defined? Or are you emotional because of the people you happen to be around? If it's the people you happen to be around, then you can choose not to be around them if you don't like the emotions that you're experiencing. The other side of that is if you're defined and people don't like the emotions you're experiencing, they might decide they don't want to be around you.
I'm not defined, so I'm undefined emotionally. I just pick up on what everybody else is feeling, which is my job. Pretty much. I have no idea. So I have to pretty much be alone and lock myself in a room to figure out what I'm really feeling, right? That's pretty much the way it is.
Yeah, you've got there's 9 centers.
Isolate myself.
5 of them are 5. If you actually do want to experience yourself, that's different from knowing who you are. I mean, human design tells you a lot of stuff. You go play with it.
What do you use it for? Like what if people that are here in the chat, if they say, I really want to get my chart done, like what will they find out about themselves from the chart? Like, what is it good for? Is it good for career decisions? Is it good for soul purpose? What's it good for?
I'm not the person to ask really about that specifically, but let me tell you this. There are coaches who specialize in healing. There are people who, when they talk about themselves, they're very intuitive, and they help people with all kinds of different healing things, Reiki. And I'm not a healer. I didn't come here for that. I didn't come here to work with people that have those kinds of problems at all. There are people who do coach people who are in business. I personally think that I don't think you can tell somebody what their career path should be. Look, people have the right to choose for themselves. They have the right to make their own mistakes. I'm going to tell you about how you are. What's your energy like, basically? What's a good strategy for you when it comes to making decisions? For example, if you are a defined emotional center, the emotions work in a wave, up, down. I mean, if you know anybody who's moody, good mood today.
I know anyone who's moody. Oh, God.
Right. That's exactly right.
And I don't like to go on the wave. I don't like to go on their moody wave. I don't like to experience them.
Don't blame you. The thing is, for them, they have to make it a good decision. They got to go through the wave. They got to see how do I feel at the top of the wave? How do I feel about the possibility of going to Paris? How do I feel at the bottom? They have to take time. They're not really here to be spontaneous. You are. You're splenic. Oh, you have the 4426. Yeah, I forgot. You're the kind of person to whom, one of my early questions would be to ask you, do you own your own business? Because you're good at business. You're really good at business. You just have this I'm not good at business. I don't have that streak. I don't know what's trending. I don't make investments anymore. I invariably, it's not the sort of thing. In fact, there was an article in a major newspaper about 12 years ago that said the stock traders rely on instinct. This is, you have to be a certain kind of person. You have to be able to very quickly pick up on what's going on, what's trending. I mean, being on the pit of the Chicago Commodities Exchange is very stressful. So it takes a certain kind of person to do that. But I wouldn't know. I would, for example, doing a reading for you, I would tell you, yeah, you're going to be good at business. You just have the capacity. And there's a lot of other things that go along with that channel. But I would tell you that, but I wouldn't tell you what kind of business.
Right.
I don't know what kind of business you want to do.
Now, I know that this is like very much science, Kip, like and very analytical. But then when we first spoke, you mentioned how it's like a combination of the chakras and the I Ching and Kabbalah. And how are all these intertwined with this modality?
Here's the thing: the guy that invented this, I just call him Ra. I know his name was Robert Krakower, but I call him Ra. That's how I met him. He's brilliant. I'm an expert in the I Ching. I really know a lot. I know amazing questions that you can ask of that. I'm very good with the I Ching. I know, I got into astrology some years ago. It wasn't my thing, but I know how astrology works. It's not like foreign to me or something. The Hindu chakra system, again, it's, I've spent a few years messing around with it, I guess you could say. I know what it's about. Same with the Kabbalah. Then he comes up with, I'm going to combine those things. I'm going to combine those four things. I'm going to synthesize. I'm going to make something new. And then he goes, oh, and just to really amp it up, I'm going to throw in modern day genetics and astrophysics. Whoa. Well, to me, that was pretty interesting, because if you can take those six things and if you can put together a system that is logical, I'm not saying it's true. I don't know. How could you validate this? But I'm very logical. I'm a really good chess player. It's very logical. And that alone, I kind of went, wow, I never even thought. I'm not a genius, but I'm not stupid. I never occurred to me to put those things together. I don't know where he got that. I really don't. That was just one of those kind of aha moments that we have periodically, in our lives. Stuff happens like that, which, by the way, is a channel in human design. And he put this together, and he got really excited by it. And, it comes with a story of a voice having delivered this information to him over an 8-day period of time in Ibiza. I mean, the whole thing was pretty enchanting. He packaged it nicely to appeal to a certain kind of person. Obviously, it doesn't appeal that much to physicists. That's just not their bag. But it appeals to a lot of different kinds of people. So what it is, to a large extent, that has to do with you. If you're a healer, there's a lot of information in here that's useful to people who heal. Here's a great example. If somebody has the root center and the emotional center connected, that's somebody who really, actually, really, truly needs to exercise consistently a lot in order to feel good. Now, if somebody's not doing that and they don't feel bad and they wonder why they feel bad, and somebody who's into human design comes along and who knows that fact and says, oh, hey, you're not getting enough exercise. And she says, no, you should go get more exercise. And they do, and they feel better. So what it is and how it's used, me personally, I worked for years, lived for years with transformation, self-transformation. I was really fortunate when I was young to spend time with one of the big players in somebody who kind of was at the forefront of establishing group therapy. He was one of my mentors years ago, and I got a chance to work with Carl Rogers, probably the best-known psychologist in America of the 20th century. This guy was huge. The whole human potential movement really sprang out of this guy, because he wanted self-actualization was the goal. How do you become the best possible you? Well, you have no chance of doing that if you don't know who you are. So how do you figure that out? That's where the transformation kind of starts there. I don't know who I am, so I got to do something about that. And I did all kinds of things about it. I read all kinds of strange books. I read Gurdjieff, I read Uspensky, I read the Tao Te Ching, I lived the Tao Te Ching, Zen Buddhism. I spent 15 years to figure out just one koan. I worked and worked at it. I mean, not day and night, but from the time I first heard it. And I remember exactly what I was doing when I finally got the answer. 15 years. I just kept going back to it, returning till I got it. I wanted to be a certain kind of person. I wanted to have a full range of human experience. I really did. I wanted to, and I didn't know who I was. I had no clue when I was young. I mean, I had no clue. I didn't get brought up in that kind of household where anybody knew who they were at all. It was all behavior change. Just, do we do this? We do that. We're doing this now. Oh, I'm mad. I do this to you. Oh, this. But I don't think there was an ounce of consciousness available. But I happen to have in my design this little thing about exactly that. Commitment to higher principle. So, I learned about higher principle. And not that I knew that I had that, I just did it, just in doing my chart. This is where it led me. I studied the Bhagavad Gita, which is all about, you got to do what you have to do. There's an obligation. I think the mantra that I took from that was, if you want to be a whole person, what the I Ching calls the superior man, not in terms of status, but superior in your capacity to deal with whatever life gives you. You have to know how to do the right thing in the right way at the right time towards the right end. Whoa, that's a mouthful. But you see where I'm going. There's an alignment that's possible in life. It's possible to be completely aligned yourself. I can be aligned with myself, and I do make a distinction between the two things. I can be aligned with myself, and I can be aligned with the life around me, and I can be aligned with God. I don't know, the fractal from the Big Bang. It's possible to have this state of being where you can just, all right, okay, I started this business about a year ago. I didn't even mean to start it. It was an accident. Instagram with human design. My wife said, "Oh, some people are writing about human design." And I wasn't doing anything. Why don't you write some stuff? And I did. Here I'm a year later, and I'm doing a business that's doing pretty well. Now, but I don't do anything for business, nothing. And if clients come and go, and when a client would leave, my first instinct was to start to worry. Oh my God, I'm going downhill. Wait a second. Now just relax. It's all going to be fine. I don't know how it's going to be fine. It just is going to be fine. Ra was a manifester. And in the beginning, you had only two types that he had. People who were here to do, that was the manifester, and people who were here to wait. That's the projectors and the manifesting generators and the generators and there's one other, reflectors.
Okay.
See, when I get on a roll talking about something, it's really hard for me to do that.
No, it's okay. Is there any way we can find out what Debbie is? Since we know what you are and I am, is there any way to know what Debbie is?
Oh, I can't pull it out of my head. No, it's based on, that stuff comes from, that's where the astrology part comes in. You send me your birth info, and I go to this site online, and they print out your chart. You could go there too. In fact, if you want, if you want to write this, hey, how about I put it in a...
You can just tell me. I could pull it up on my...
Okay, jovianarchive.com. You can go there. jovianarchive.com.
Okay.
So there's a place on there that says get your free chart. And all you have to do is input your date, place, and time of birth. And it'll pop up a chart. And once you got a chart popped up, I can't remember if his... I think it tells you that what your type is. I think it actually shows you on there what your type is. It's but if
Debbie,
not,
put in the private chat. Put in the private chat your birth info, and I'll see what yours is.
I have to text my mom.
yeah, most of us don't carry that around in our heads, right? You know?
Oh, right. Never mind.
And you don't want to be off by much.
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
A couple of minutes can change things. Now, you know, a lot of people.
Let me stop you there, Kip, because we only have 15 minutes left. I want to talk about. I know. I want to talk about what you're offering to people tonight on the show. So if they want to have a reading with you, you're giving a very, very generous discount for anybody that watched the show tonight. I'm going to put that on the chat here so people can say. I'm just going to put that in the comments.
All right.
And, Kip is giving 30% off his readings to anyone who uses the code Lounge and goes to his Deep Explore reading. I just put that in the chat there. And
anybody who has any kind of problem with it, if you go to my website, you can find my email address, or you can go to find me on Instagram and get me to follow you, and then you can DM me. But easy is just go to my website and you'll find my email address. And if you have any kind of a problem, just let me know and we'll fix it right away.
Yeah, so right
Mercury
here,
retrograde.
you can go to humandesignsystempro.com. And if you want to go to Instagram, it's Human Design Systems Pro. If anybody has a question for Kip, do you want to answer some questions about human design from anybody in the chat, Kip, or are you? Do you think
these going to be trick questions?
I don't know. Or you can ask questions about mediumship for me or Debbie. You can ask us questions.
I'll do my best.
Let's see. Talia Worthy. She is someone that was a client of yours. You did a human design for her son. It was a godsend. So that's nice. She's giving love the depth of her reading. So you have people who've had readings with you before. And Debbie, what do you think about this? I want to hear what your thoughts are here about all this.
So I'm fascinated, right? Because
You're vaccinated?
I'm fascinated.
Okay.
Don't put words in my mouth.
I'm vaccinated.
I thought you were.
No, but I would say my guess would be that I'm a manifester if I had to take a guess. Because when just with working with Marisa and things happening so fast, like I'm always like, I need to be ready. But things just hit me, like I call it the spiritual 2x4. And I'm like, I have to do it. It's time. They're just telling me, like, get off your ass and go do it. I'm like, fine. Okay. All right. You don't have to hit me.
So Lori has a question for you, Kip. You get a reading, human design. Now you have your design potential. Then you choose to go down that road. Is that how it works?
Well, there's no hard, fast rule about it. Different people do different things with it. Some people think that they get the idea in their mind that human design is a silver bullet. I get a reading and my life is perfect from then on. Well, life's not like that. Some people get really into it. I mean, there's a certain profile that just has to investigate to the nth degree. But it's their profile. That's what they came with. That's what they're supposed to do. See, we're all playing a role in this big giant movie. And you don't know. It's like when you're watching a movie, you don't know what's coming. I mean, sometimes you do, but that's a crappy movie. Most of the time you don't know what's coming. And that's where all the pleasure is, right? That's what makes it all fun. You don't know what's going to happen. Life's like that. You don't know what's going to happen. Do you want to be ready for it? Some people, what they do is they don't know. One of the big questions, what's my purpose? Well, actually, there's a specific area of the reading that deals with that and tells you exactly what it's called an incarnation cross. What are you here for? Why are you here? And that's part of the reading that you get, you know. Now, how good a reading is really depends upon the person that does the reading. There are people out there that charge a lot of money, and yeah, their readings are okay. I think my readings are pretty good. I have various levels. I always feel funny when I toot my own horn. Actually, I'm extremely.
Toot it.
I'm really good.
Toot.
I'm really, really good. I mean, I've been doing readings for 20 years. More importantly, I've been living human design for 20 years.
Do it. Yes.
Do it. Just do it.
Just do it.
Oh, gosh. The can of beans just flashed through my mind.
What?
Sorry, I just...
Vegetarian beans?
Oh, no, mine are all meat beans.
Oh, so you don't have
that's kind if you want to toot. The chili beans. Oh, she gets it now. Okay.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. Well,
yes. You said we were going to have fun, so.
I'm having fun.
We have fun. Yeah, we're having fun. We only have about 7 more minutes of fun. So before we have to go, I know it goes by fast, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You can get into studying human design. I teach human design. I mentor people. I mentor people who mentor. I mentor people who train, who coach. No, I don't know. I don't think there's anybody on Instagram that has the same experience that I have. I was just, I came to it a certain time, a long time ago. And whatever people want to do, that's what's so nice about it. It's not confining. It's not going to tell you. I mean, I have to be honest. There are people who do readings who do tell you stuff like that. Oh, you have to wait for an invitation. Oh, you didn't respond. That's not going to work for you. You have to respond. Yep, bullshit. I'm sorry, but it is. It's not like that. You can do as you want. Now, how it works, hopefully you learn from that, what's the best strategy for you? But you can do so much with it. There really aren't. There's I can't think of any limits. You're a psychologist. Wow, if you knew this stuff about your patients, if a patient walked through your door and you had I do these readings, they're like 15 to 20 pages typed out, 8.5 by 11, full on reading. And you sit down at your desk and you read that before that patient walks in. I'm telling you, you've got a real tool to be able to, there's different kinds of, I'm talking about therapeutic psychology, very specifically, but that's a great tool. Children, either one of you know about things like Waldorf schools?
Yes, actually. They knit for classes.
Oh, they're fabulous, they're fabulous. Cool. They're really cool. I have a couple of clients in Australia who were so hot to bring human design into school so that they can work with kids. So that instead of, people are different. What's the point of trying to make somebody learn in this way if they're not designed like that? If they're designed to learn this way over here, then why don't you teach them that way instead of putting everybody together? Now, I understand the reason why, but still, it works out to be not very effective. When everything was a lot smaller and we had a lot fewer people, back in the 1800s, it was probably good. But we've become so big and so complex and so diverse that one size fits all just isn't working well anymore. So there's a lot of things that can be done with it. You can play with it. I mean, I like to do this. I'll look at one of my gates and I'll go, oh, look, gate 11. I wonder if anybody's going to show up with gate 11 today. How will I know? Because it'll get my, how will I know? I don't know. Oh, I know. My gate 56 will be more active. Yes. All right. Okay. I can deal with that. It's fun. You just to look at your world throughout the day and say, oh, what am I doing? Oh, I remember that. I have that gate. I have the gate of judgment. Wow. I'm judging that person. I see.
Apparently, there was that gate of intuition or something. I saw on Instagram that there was people who are intuitive or have psychic ability have a certain gate, and I messaged you about it, and you said, "Oh yeah, you have the gate."
Oh, I think there's 7 gates like that. 1,
Yeah.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I don't know. A lot of them. Let me look at your chart real quick. Well, I know you have gate 44. Very intuitive. You know what you're intuitive about. You're really intuitive. Besides the money thing, the entrepreneurial thing, you're really intuitive about what it takes to calm down a group of big egos.
Really?
Yeah, you know how to do that.
A big group of them.
Well,
like
I mean, not a swarming horde. You got a couple of people here. I don't know. Say you're in a staff meeting.
Yeah.
I had this happen when I was in, management. You got a couple of idiots, and they get on this trip, and they're going, and you got to figure out a way to put a stop to that. Now, there's different ways you can do it. You're pretty good at that, or you should be, according to what your chart says here, because you can manipulate people's memory.
What does that mean?
Well, it means that whatever you say goes. If you say, I remember this, this is, hey, you guys remember when we were out in that boat? Oh, yeah, sure.
Oh, my God. Kip, let me tell you, I used to do this as a kid. I used to go up to random people in the grocery store, and I used to say, do you remember when I met you at Grandma's 4th of July bash in 1997? Yeah. Remember Rob? And they'd be like, oh, yeah, I remember. And I would do this all the time, and people would actually say they remembered me, and I'd make it up.
Yeah. You know what I'm seeing? That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Well, yeah,
you were doing this as a kid.
Yeah. I would tell people that I met them at parties and stuff, and I haven't ever seen them before.
Yeah, and they believed you.
They believed me. Yeah.
Yeah, right. See, well, you can still do that.
Well, I think it's funny if I see someone on the street, I'm like, hey, Brad. She's like, my name's not Brad. I'm like, oh, I remember you back at Strawberry.
Try this. Remember that time you borrowed $50 from me? You were at this coffee shop and you couldn't pay your bill, and I said, oh, hey, look, here's my phone number. We can hook up. Here's the. Oh, I guess you have to do the other way around. You can't pay the bill, and you say, oh, God, I need $50 from you. Yeah. And so they owe you $50. Which way does it go? Yeah,
I don't think I've actually sought out money.
They bought it from you. They owe you $50. Oh.
Right, you're making money.
My goodness.
Where'd he go?
I don't know. You still there, Kip?
I don't know. Suddenly the.
I think you're still there.
I think you are.
All right. Well, Debbie.
Yes, suddenly the sound doesn't work.
Oh, no.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't hear you at all.
That Mercury is such a little
there it is. I got so excited. You're not going to believe this. I got so excited I was flapping around, and so there's this little dial on the controls the volume on my headset, and I guess I must have slapped it.
Well, I'd love to keep going, but we have to wrap it up. So okay. I'm just going to just let you guys know, follow Kip on Instagram, Human Design System Pro. You can email Kip at kipwin at HDS Pro, Human Design Systems Pro. You can go on the website to Human Design System Pro. You might have remembered me from a backyard barbecue, and I could tell you when it was, when we hung out together. I do not use that in my mediumship, by the way. So I'm like, hey, buddy, how you doing? So Kip Winsett, Human Design Mentor and Analyst, is offering 30% off anybody who has a reading with him that mentions the word lounge. Okay, so the easiest way to do it, I put it in the chat, the easiest way to do it is go to Human Design Systems Pro on Instagram. Follow him, give him a DM, a BM, whatever you want to do. Whatever you want to do. It's right there. Antique Medium, Miss Debbie Carey. She's right here on the right-hand side in the upper square, Hollywood Squares. We're going to see more of her on the lounge. For all you Loungenites out there, we've seen more of Miss Debbie Carey, the Antique Medium. And tomorrow is a big day. Tomorrow's the 15th of the month, which means that I put out my monthly energy forecast every month on the 15th. But you need to be an email subscriber. So I did the office this week for the weekly forecast. The monthly forecast are pre-recorded videos. I recorded tomorrow. I go over the whole month, the dates of the month, what's coming up. Kip doesn't want to know about what's coming up, so he won't read it because he wants to read it now.
True.
So, if you're not on, get Marissa's, I'm writing it now, get Marissa's monthly message because it goes out tomorrow. If you sign up after the 15th, you'll get June's. It goes out once a month. Monthly message, energy forecast. Monthly, is that what I'm doing? Yeah, forecast. That's how you sign up. Go right there. And Debbie, is there anything else you want to say?
Just that. Thank you for having me on. It is so nice to meet Kip. To see you, every opportunity to see you is my lucky day. So this has been an honor. I can't wait to come back on. Of course, we missed Elise. I know that. And I know Elise. She's so lovely. But, whenever she cannot make it, please give me a shout and I'll come right over.
Okay. Well, we have somebody with the same last name as you here, Kip. Lisa Winsett. Is this your daughter?
Oh, God, she's going to love that. That's my grandmother.
No.
Of course.
Hi, Lisa. Thanks for
That's
coming.
my wife.
Oh, well, sorry. I guess I offended you on that one. Beautiful.
She's beautiful. Yeah, she's beautiful inside and outside both.
Awesome. Well, we thank you guys for coming. Thank you, Kip, for coming on. We appreciate it.
My pleasure. I had a great time. You were right. This was a lot of fun.
See, I had to persuade you and change your memory to come on.
You had to recognize me and invite me until I believed you.
Well, now you believe me, and now you don't want to leave. So
that's right. Please let me stay forever.
Well, thanks, Kip. Everybody say bye to Kip. We'll see you backstage, Kip. I'm going to take you off now. Thank you so much.
Oh, yeah.
Bye, Kip.
Debbie, thank you so much for co-hosting.
Always, anytime.
We really appreciate you and all the Lounnngeeeee. I'm sure they're used to Elise, but we do have the seductress. We have the antique medium. We have everybody on. So thank you so much. And I know that you've come around because there's a lot we need to be doing together. So
thank you. And thank everybody for being here. It's been a lot of fun.
All right, guys. Thank you. Thank you guys for coming. Thanks for coming to the lounge. Remember, sign up for the monthly energy forecast. I'm putting it out tomorrow. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.